Hello there, Prasad Domala here. Today I'll show you how to install Oracle Unified Directory, set up Oracle Unified Directory as a directory server, and configure ODSM to access Oracle Unified Directory. Oracle has three directory service products: Oracle Internet Directory, OID, Oracle Directory Server Enterprise Edition, ODSEE, and Oracle Unified Directory, OUD. The main difference between OID and OUD is that OID need a database to store LDAP data, but OUD comes with embedded database. Also, OID is completely developed by Oracle, and OUD is formally developed by Sun and taken over by Oracle. And ODSE is also a directory server, but OUD is a polished version of ODSE with many more features. So if you're not quite sure of which directory server to choose, I would say just go with OUD for your new directory implementations, and it is completely compatible with identity and access management integrations. Okay, that's a brief intro on the directory services provided by Oracle. Now let's get into Oracle Unified Directory. As I said earlier, OUD is the latest of all the directory services provided by Oracle, and it's designed to handle large deployments and provide high performance. And I felt it's relatively easy to deploy and manage. OUD can be configured to perform three functionalities basically: a directory server, a proxy server, and a replication gateway. Directory server, as you might have guessed, to store the LDAP directory data. Proxy server can be used as a load balancer and redirect directory client requests to backend LDAP or directory servers. And finally, replication gateway can be used to synchronize directory data between different directory servers like your ODSE or OID. Today we'll be configuring our OUD as a directory server. And first things first, this is my environment I'll be using today. I'll be using Oracle Linux 6.7 64-bit virtual machine, and I'll be using VMware Workstation Player 12 to run my virtual machine. And we'll be installing Oracle Unified Directory 11.1.2.3 version, and I'll be using JDK 1.8. Just to let you know, OUD can be completely administered and managed using command line utilities. But if you wish to manage it through GUI, you need to install WebLogic Server and Application Development Runtime, that's ADF runtime, and configure Oracle Directory Services Manager, that is ODSM, to access OUD. I'll show you how to do that as well today. And the next prerequisite is some of the operating system packages. These are the operating system packages that are required. So make sure you install all these packages using your root account before starting OUD installation. You can find the list of packages on my blog. I'll leave the link in the description. So once you have installed all the required packages, your system is ready for OUD installation. So let's start with the OUD installation. So I'm logged into my VMware here. So I'm navigating to my software directory. I have already extracted the software, the ADF software, OUD software, and I'm using generic jar file for my WebLogic installation. So first we'll do the OUD installation and configure it, and then we'll install WebLogic server and ADF on top of it, and then we'll configure the ODSM. So to install Oracle Unified Directory, navigate to your OUD software and then disk 1, and then you can execute run installer along with your JRE location. So before that, let me get my JRE path or JDK path. So this is my JDK path, that is. So now you can execute run installer -JRE LOC and then your JDK home. The first thing is it will ask you for your Aura inventory directory. So I'll create it under my U01 app Aura inventory. and then my operating system group I'll select as O install because my Oracle user is added to this O install group. Okay, you can click OK here. Then I'll continue with local inventory. Click OK. And then your OUD installer should start now. And this is the welcome screen. Click next on the welcome screen. Then you can skip the software updates. Select the first option. Click next. Next, the prerequisite checks will be done. Make sure all your prerequisites are met. And then click next. And then you need to specify OUD base location. That is nothing but your middleware home and OUD home directory. So I'm giving my base location as /u01 app Oracle product fmw, and then I'll leave my OUD home directory name as it is, and then click next. This is the summary screen. You can install here. If you want, you can save the response file for future silent installations. This is the installation progress screen. It should not take much time. Okay, as you can see, the installation progress is 100%. You can click next here. This is the installation complete screen. Click finish on this screen. Now OUD installation part is done. Now it's time to configure it. So for configuration, you need to run a script from your OUD home directory. So let's do that now. So let me navigate to OUD home. That's U01 app Oracle product fmw, then Oracle _ OUD1, and you need to execute OUD setup script. Okay, let me do that. You have two options to configure OUD. You can either do it through GUI, or you can use command line utility. So if you want to use command line utility, you just need to specify OUD setup space -CLI, and then it will start the command line configuration. As of now, I'll do the GUI configuration. And here, one more thing you need to notice here. By default, it creates OUD instance under your Fusion middleware home, and the name will be ASINST_1. If you wish to change that default name, you need to set the environment variable instance_home to whatever name you want before running OUD setup. As of now, for the demo purpose, I'm going with the default name and location. That will be ASINST_1, and your instance will be under your Fusion middleware directory. So this is the welcome screen of your OUD configuration. Click next here. Here you need to provide the server settings, that is your LDAP settings. So the host name will be your host name. In my case, it is localhost.local domain. I'll leave it as it is. And then the port, I'll use the default port 1389. And then you have another port called as administration connector port. So this port is used for your administration traffic. You know, when you are connecting to your OUD for administration purposes, you will be using this port. Okay, like while connecting from your ODSM. So I'll leave it default. And then you have the root user DM. This is the administrator user. So this is the main administrator of your OUD. And then I'll provide a password for that. And then you have another option to configure secure access. So you can click on configure here. And then it will ask you the SSL settings. So the first one is whether you want to enable SSL or not. If you wish to enable, you can check this check mark here and then provide your LDAP S port. So I'll leave the default value 1636. And then next thing is you need to specify the certificate. So for demo purposes, you can select the first option, which will generate a self-signed certificate. Or else if you are doing this installation in production environments, you can select the second option and select the respective certificate, whatever certificate you are using. So for demo purposes, I'm going ahead with self-signed certificate and then click OK. So now you have configured your LDAP secure access as well. You can click next here. And next you have two options here. The first one is standalone server, and next you have the option to add this particular OUD instance to the replication topology. Okay, so if you already have existing OUDs in your environment, and if you are adding this additional OUD, and if you want to replicate this OUD with your existing OUDs, then you can select the second option and provide the details of your existing OUD, and then this new OUD instance will be added to the replication topology. So I'm going ahead with the first option, the standalone server, for demo purposes. You can click next here. Next you need to provide the directory data. So the first thing is directory base DN, which will be your root DN, under which all your users and groups will be created. So you can give any name here in this particular LDAP compliant format. So I'll just call mine as DC is equal to, say, Prasad, comma DC is equal to com. You can name it anything you want, your company name or something like that. And then for the initial directory data, you have four options. You can either create the base entry, that is DC is equal to Prasad or DC is equal to com, or you can leave the database empty, and then you can create your base DN or root DN later on. Or if you have existing LDAP data in the LDIF format, you can import that file during the installation itself. Then finally you have an option to generate sample data. So this will be useful for your demo purposes if you are trying out OUD, and if you want to test your LDAP scripts on some sample data, you can select this last option and specify how many user entries you want this particular installation to create, for your testing purposes. I'll just say create 1000 users here. So it will generate 1000 test users and import it into your LDAP or OUD. Click next here. Next it will ask you for the integrations. OUD can be integrated with different products like your directory integration platform or Business Suite or enterprise user security. Okay, so depending on your requirements, you can select these options. But for my installation, I'm not integrating OUD with anything. So I'll just leave the default selection here, no specific integration, and click next. Next, you will be asked to tune your server. That is, you need to specify the required Java heap size for your OUD. So you can decide on the heap size based on the number of entries in your LDAP. Here you can see a little calculation based on the number of entries, but it is recommended to provide minimum 1 GB. You can decide on the heap size based on your number of entries you are planning to import into your OUD. So I'll just leave these default for my installation and click next. Next, this is the summary screen with all the details you have provided, and you have a little drop down here where you can see the equivalent command line as well. So if you click that, you will see the command line. You can save this command line in future if you want to configure an additional OUD with the same settings. You can just run this command line utility, and it will create the exact same instance as your existing OUD. And then you have an option to start the server after the configuration is completed. I'm leaving that checked, and then click finish. Now the configuration process will start. As you can see, the configuration is complete now, and it's done in 4 steps: configuring directory server, configuring your certificates, and then importing the sample data, and then starting your directory server. And here it will show you the instance path of your new OUD instance. You can click close here. So now you have configured your OUD as well. Let's do some testing. So first let's check the ports using netstat command. So 1389 is our standard port. Sorry, that's a typo. So 1389 is your standard LDAP port which is listening. Let's check 1636, which is your secure LDAP port. just listening as well. If you want to check the status of your OID, you have a command for that. You can go to your OUD instance that is under your Fusion middleware, and then AS inst1 and then OUD. Here if you go to your bin directory, you have a command called as status. You can just execute that to check the status of your OID. So it will ask you for your directory manager password. You can see the status here. Okay, the server run status is started, and then it will show you the open connections, and then these are the server details, and then the connection handlers. So we have enabled LDAP and LDAP-S as well. Then the data sources, your base DN. So it gives you a lot of information. So that's how you install and configure your Oracle Unified Directory. At this point, you have a fully functional Oracle Unified Directory. You can start using it, and if you want to administer it, you can do it using the command line utilities. Now let me show you how to manage your OUD using the GUI, that is ODSM, Oracle Directory Services Manager. So for that, you need to install WebLogic and Oracle Application Development Framework Runtime. Okay, let me do that quickly. So let me navigate to my software directory and install WebLogic server first. So you can execute the WebLogic server installer using java-jar command. I'll not discuss much about WebLogic installation here. I'll quickly install it, and it's pretty simple. It's nothing complicated here. Okay, this is the WebLogic installer's welcome screen. You can click next here, and it will ask you to create a new middleware home. So you need to specify the same middleware home which you have specified during your OUD installation. So that would be /u01 app Oracle product fmw, and then click next. So it will say that the directory is not empty. You can ignore this message and click yes, and then you can skip the security updates. It will ask you for confirmation a couple of times, and then you can go with the default typical installation, which installs your WebLogic server and Oracle Coherence. Click next, then verify your JDK path, and then click next. So here it will give you the paths for your WebLogic server and Coherence. You can accept the default paths. If you want, you can change them here. Click next, and then this is the summary of your WebLogic installation. Click next, and your installation will start now. Okay, the installation is complete now. You can uncheck run quick start and click done. So now the WebLogic installation is done. Now it's time for your ADF runtime installation. So let me go to my ADF directory, and then disk 1. So here you will have run installer. So you need to execute run installer along with your JRE location. Okay, this is your ADF welcome screen. Click next here. You can skip the software updates. Make sure all your prerequisites are met, and click next. Here you need to specify the Oracle middleware home. So again, you need to specify the same middleware home used for your OUD and WebLogic server installations. So that's u01 app Oracle product FMW, and then your ADF will be installed under your Oracle common directory. You can click next here. It will detect the WebLogic server automatically. Select that and click next. And this is your ADF summary screen. You can click install here. Now the installation process will start. So we are installing ADF because ODSM is a web application which is built on ADF. So you need to have this ADF runtime installed on top of WebLogic to run your ODSM, that is Oracle Directory Services Manager. Okay, as you can see, the installation process is complete. You can click next here. This is the installation complete screen. Click finish. So now your ADF installation is done. Now it's time to create a domain for your ODSM. So let's navigate to Oracle Common, that is U01 app Oracle product FMW Oracle common bin. So you need to run your config.sh script from Oracle common bin. So now the domain creation process will start. So you have two options. You can either create new WebLogic domain or extend an existing WebLogic domain. So in our case, it would be create new WebLogic domain. Click next. Now you need to select the components. So in our case, it would be ODSM. So we are creating the WebLogic domain for ODSM. So you can select ODSM, Oracle Directory Services Manager, and it will automatically select Oracle GRF. And then click next. You can name your domain. I'll call mine as OUD domain. Then you can leave the path, or if you want to change the path, you can change the path here. And then you need to provide your WebLogic administrator username and password. I'll leave the username as default. Provide your password. And click next. Now it will ask you to select the mode of your WebLogic. So I'll go with production mode. And then this is my JDK. I'll leave that as it is. And then click next. Here you just need to select the administration server. We don't need additional managed servers or deployments. So I'll just select administration server here and click next. And then you need to name your administration server. I'll leave the name as default. Then the listener addresses, I'll leave the default. And if you want to change the port, you can change the port here. I'm going ahead with 7001. Click next. This is the domain creation summary screen. You can verify the details here and click on create. Now your domain creation process will start. Okay, now the domain creation process is complete, and this is my admin server URL. Before accessing the administration console, you need to start your domain. So click done here and let's start the domain. So navigate to your domain directory. So that would be under your Fusion middleware, user projects, domains, OUD domain. And before starting the domain, you need to set your boot.properties. So create a security directory for your admin server. So that would be servers, admin server, and then security. And then you need to put your WebLogic username and password in a file called as boot.properties. So I'll create that file now. Then put in my WebLogic username and password. Save the file. Now you can start your domain. So you can do that in the background using nohub command, nohub./start-weblogic.sh and then ampersand. So you can tail the nohub file to check the status of your domain. Okay, now your WebLogic domain is started. You can see the message server started in running mode. Now let's access the administration console. So it will be running on port 7001/console. So log in with your WebLogic username and password. So once logged in, you need to make sure your ODSM deployment is in active state. So go to your deployments here and then make sure your ODSM is in active state. Okay, now let's access the ODSM console. It will be running on the same port. Localhost :7001/ODSM. This is your ODSM home screen. So here you can create your connection to your new OUD. So let's do that. So the name, I'll just call it as my OUD. Server will be localhost, and then the administration port is 4444. You can specify SSL enabled if you want to connect using secure port, and then your directory manager password. Then you can save your connection by checking this checkbox and click login. It will ask you to trust the certificate, so you can click yes, trust always. This is our self-signed certificate. Okay, now you can see the OUD homepage. So you can see our ODSM version, our OUD version, our JDK version, and then all the details about your OUD. You can go to your data browser, then check your sample data under your root domain. tc=prasad, tc=com. If you go to ou=people, you can see all the test users got created here. So you can find all the 1000 users here. If you click on the username, you'll see all the details for that particular user. That's it. You now have a fully functional Oracle Unified Directory environment, and you have configured ODSM to access your OUD. Please check my blog for all the commands I used in this video along with the screenshots. I'll leave the link in the description. Hope you all liked the video and found it helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and blog at prasaddomala.com to get notified on my new videos and posts. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.